Hi guys, today's video is all about commitment with your SP, and this is specifically connecting to, getting specific contact from them. You want them to take the next step in your relationship. So if you are manifesting them, even if it's coming from a bad old story, but you are in contact or you are already together and you want to take that next step, this video is for you. So I do talk a lot about how to get messages from your SP and everything, and this is just going one step further and basically how to go straight to the end with marriage, commitment, and it's up to you. I'm going to give a few examples, like fiance, husband, wife, that sort of thing. So you will get like a range of different advice from me, but ultimately it all comes down to the same thing. And it's just you persisting in what you want. The wording itself doesn't matter. You can change it from, if I recommend something for a fiance, you can just say, well, my boyfriend, if that's the commitment you want. So yeah, I will get into all that in this video. So please do thumbs up and subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you enjoy my content and you'd like to see more of these kind of videos from me. It would mean a lot. I also offer coaching if that's something you're interested in. You don't need to book now. You can just look into the information, which is on my Instagram, LOA Coaching. All the prices and information is listed there. So you can type that into the app, or the link is below as well with all my prices and packages and information. I might pop a few things on screen right now as well to show you what I offer. And yeah, if you're interested, do get in touch. And now let's get into the video. My first piece of advice is that whatever time you are spending with your SP, like I said, it's about manifesting commitment with them in relation to what I'm talking about today. So maybe that you're already in a relationship and now you want to get engaged, married, whatever the case may be, or maybe they're just taking you on dates and you want them to actually ask you to be their girlfriend or their boyfriend. Or if you're asking a girl if you're a guy asking a girl, for example, typically I think it's how it happens, right? With a guy and a girl, the guy will ask. So if you want a girl to accept your relationship proposal, you can manifest that as well. But whatever time you're spending with them, you want to frame it in a positive way. So you want to not act as if necessarily, but more think as if they've already committed to that. They've already asked you, you've already accepted, whatever the case may be, and you are already in a relationship. But frame everything, every moment you spend with them in a positive way. So even if it's negative, it's okay if you react or get disappointed or upset, but you want to do your best to mentally frame it as if it's something positive. So, if they were saying, oh, I'm going to take you out on a date, and you've already been on a couple dates and you're waiting for them to, ask you to be their girlfriend, for example, ask you to be their partner. You want to think about every date and every kind of conversation you have with them in a positive way, like, oh my gosh, I love that he's taken me here. I love that she invited me to this place and we had such a fun romantic night, and oh my gosh, she showed up on time, which means she's obsessed with me, she loves me. Just frame it with literally any kind of positive assumption you can. That's the key to tricking and training your subconscious mind to let go of the old story and say, actually, this is a perfect experience and I'm not going to spiral. So it's about, taking those moments where maybe things aren't perfect and just telling yourself mentally that they were because of XYZ. Like I said, even if it's not exactly what you want, if you wanted a romantic picnic in the park, or you wanted to go to a really romantic Italian restaurant, I don't know, like whatever the case may be, if you wanted something really intimate and romantic and that's not what happened, maybe they just invited you to a party to go with them, a house party, for example, still say, oh my gosh, of course they invited me. They love me. I'm their one and only. This means they're about to give me the commitment I want right this second because of, the invite I received from them. They want to spend every day with me. Just say anything along those lines. It doesn't have to feel logical or true, but the more you frame it in a positive light, the more they will start reflecting that new version. Because if you get stuck in a mental reaction to the 3D, it's going to perpetuate itself in a negative cycle. It's going to be harder. You're going to have to do more of a mental diet, and you're just going to start questioning the relationship. So it's better to just immediately frame it in a positive way in your own mind. Another example of how to do this and how to just focus on a positive version is with revision. Revision is very, very powerful. So I would recommend maybe if what did I write down here? If they don't say or do what you want, or if they don't take you on the date they promised, or the date didn't go well, whatever time you spent with them, maybe it didn't go as planned, revise it. Immediately after it ends, you know, they go home, you go home, you walk your separate ways, or whatever the case may be, start revising it in your mind. You can write it down on your phone in the Notes app, and then, you know, record it later or read it over multiple times later, whatever you need to do. Start mentally focusing on the desired version. So you could say, for example, I had the best night ever, you know, we had the most romantic evening, we went for dinner and we watched a movie at the cinema, and you know, my SP let me pick exactly what restaurant we went to, what film we watched. They loved me so much that they would do anything for me, and they held my hand and told me all the things I wanted to hear. It can be as general and vague as that, but just take what you experienced with them and flip it into a positive and revise it to be what you wished it would have been. And it doesn't need to feel believable. You can still think, not necessarily think, but like it can still be in your mind, the old version, but just try and loop the new version as much as you can until you stop questioning it, playing it over in your mind, feeling upset. That is the sign that it's working, that the revision is saturating your mind, that you're no longer going to, you know, be at risk of spiraling over it. And just apply revision as soon as you can if you are mentally and emotionally reacting to a bad experience with your SP. My next point is to remember that your emotions don't manifest. So I know even if you're already in contact and in some kind of relationship with your SP, it can be difficult, you know, to stay in the new story, in the new version, especially if there's a little bit of hot and cold. But no matter what you're feeling, whether it's anxious, disappointed, frustrated, even you might have moments of feeling heartbroken because maybe they just haven't given you the commitment you want yet, and you know, you expect it, you've been visualizing it, and it just hasn't materialized in 3D yet. Remember that the emotions connected to that will not manifest. So if you need to cry, have a little breakdown, it's okay. Pull yourself together, have that moment for yourself, let it all out, and then kind of regroup and start again, because your emotions aren't going to manifest. So just try and stay on top of the thoughts, because your repetitive thoughts will manifest. Next point is something that you shouldn't do, and that is do not push for that serious conversation. Do not, unless of course it can happen naturally, you can always be the one to initiate something. You know, no matter what, you can be the one to take that next step, but it has to feel natural and almost spontaneous and like the right decision with zero doubt, zero questions. It just feels like the natural thing to do. So if you're not acting from any form of desperation, you can always initiate. And even if you do act from desperation, it won't ruin things, but you're going to risk something bad happening in the 3D, and then you're going to have to go all over that again. Instead of persisting as normal in your mind, you're going to have to deal with the issue you caused in the 3D. So in my opinion, unless it's literally inspired action that you don't even think about in the moment, I wouldn't say initiate. I would recommend not to initiate. So don't try and push for that serious conversation, asking, you know, what are we, or where is this leading to? You know, why haven't you asked me to be your girlfriend or boyfriend, or whatever the case may be? Why haven't you proposed yet? Don't push for those. Do not take that form of action or verbal action in the 3D. It's not needed. It's not going to boost your manifestation. There's a good chance you won't hear what you want, because if they haven't done it and you're spiraling and doubting, chances are your manifestation has not fully conformed, so your SP probably won't turn around to you in the 3D and say, oh my gosh, my love, you're right, I'll ask you right now, please, please, please be my girlfriend, please be my husband, please be my wife. Like, the chances of that happening are just lower because you're coming from a place of doubt. And if you feel like you need that validation and that verbal response, and you need them to immediately do something, you know, you're trying to rush it, it's not natural, and it's not the natural way that your manifestation would unfold. So the conversations and actions from your SP will arrive perfectly as they're meant to. You just need to persist. It's just all about looping and repetition and persistence day in, day out. It may feel a bit tiresome, you may be getting a little bit, you know, anxious, and you don't want to wait any longer. That's totally normal, but you need to push through it mentally, because yeah, just don't initiate those serious conversations if it's not a really, really natural action for you. My next point is something simple you can do. You can even do this as you're spending time with them. If it's going really well or if it's going badly, it doesn't matter. This will always help. So let's say you're watching a film together, or you're just hanging out together in one of your homes, for example. It's not something, you know, where you're literally in the middle of a conversation with them, obviously, but something relaxed, or you're eating dinner or something, whatever the case may be. If you have a moment and you can just visualize in your mind, I would recommend creating some inner conversations, just something very simple and quick. It can be you just speaking to yourself, you know, thinking thoughts like how amazing this date is. Oh, I love spending time with them. I can see how much they love me. I'm so lucky that they're actually committing to me now. Whatever the case may be, just create some inner conversations and try and focus on, for example, if your goal is marriage and that's the commitment you want to work towards, to create some conversations about being their fiance or their spouse. Imagine you're having this conversation with them right now, and obviously just think it in your head, but you can be like, oh, I'm so happy you proposed to me. I know that doesn't really sound fully natural. People probably wouldn't say it that way, but it doesn't really matter. You can make it as obvious and like blunt in your mind as you want. You can say, I'm so happy we're engaged now. I love being your fiance. And you can hear them say something back to you like, of course I would propose to you. You're the love of my life, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm so happy we're married now. You know, we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. And then you just go a little bit of a back and forth and imagine what that would be like. Inner conversations are really, really useful, especially if you're literally with them. If they're in front of you, it can create a really powerful visual because they're literally with you, right? In person, you're spending some kind of time together. Or even if it's just a phone conversation, you can imagine that they're going to say these things to you on the phone. So as I just said, when you're spending time together, whether it's an official date, visualize and live from the end and just pretend in your mind that you're already married. You're already an official couple. You've already got that commitment you want from SP, and this is you spending that time with them in that official relationship, right? You've already reached the end of your manifestation. You've got it. You're living it now, and mentally imagine that. So ask yourself now, take a few moments to think, what thoughts would you be having if you had that commitment, if they were your husband or wife, they were your boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance, what thoughts would you be having? What would be going through your mind? How would you be mentally reacting? You know, what mental state would you be in? You'd probably be really, really happy and fulfilled and relaxed and kind of in a state of elation. You'd still probably kind of be living on cloud 9, just really happy and excited. And what things would you do if you were married? So think about that, and obviously don't force your SP to, or try and create a date where it's like, okay, well, this is what a married couple would do. Just think to yourself, what would we be doing? Like, we'd be having dinner together. Maybe they would cook for you, you'd cook for them. One of you would be maybe surprising the other with cute things. Or if you, for example, like I have flowers here. If you buy yourself flowers or you've received flowers, pretend it's from them. Pretend it's to celebrate your engagement, or you've just got married and it's your wedding flowers, whatever. It doesn't really matter what the case may be. Like, just try and think about what you'd be doing if you were married. Well, you might be planning dates or looking to buy a property together, or, you know, start a family. Start thinking thoughts from that. And obviously you don't have to think about having kids, because you don't want to manifest that if that's not what you want right now. And that's totally fine, but just try and mentally live as if you already have that commitment. And like I said, mentally live from the end and pretend that if you've just, you know, you've gone to the cinema or to dinner for a date, or you've just randomly met up at a party and you're chatting, right? Pretend that you're already that couple and mentally think, oh my gosh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, we're here together, we came as a couple, you know, blah, 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 just anything along those lines. So I'm trying to give examples, but I know it's very specific to each person's situation. So hopefully that gave you some ideas of thoughts you can kind of create, inner conversations you can initiate for yourself, and how to act when maybe a date or time with your SP isn't going as planned. You know, you can work through it and flip it around really quickly. So I hope all of this advice was useful and gave you guys some clarity on how to act when you want to get that next level of commitment. Please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!